to the ring, Megan Myers, Shirley Doe!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ryse Pro Wrestling here at the Stronghold as we kick off 2019. And as you can see right here, we are having a rather dangerous start to the new year. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atlas.
And Jim, tonight we're going to kick this off. Here you see Shirley Doe along with Meg Myers. Shirley Doe, the mastermind behind the Grindhouse.
And this macabre combination of Shirley Doe and Megan Myers poses a very literal threat to the Bearcat one, Keith Haught. Certainly we can expect Keith Haught to try to use this to propel himself in the year of 2019.
And there he is, the Bearcat, making a return to Ryse.
West Virginia, and weighing in at 238 pounds, the Bearcat, Keith Haught!
Keith Haught is a young man that has really been adopted by this Lamont Furnace crowd, but tonight he is in some real jeopardy because Shirley Doe has a PhD in punishment.
And let's not forget, Keith Haught was injured earlier this year by the main event. So we're going to find out tonight, has Keith Haught made a full recovery? Because he's going to be tested by Shirley Doe. There's no two ways about that.
Once again, my name is Jim Amata, being joined by legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atlas.
And wait a minute here, Meg Myers appears to be volunteering to take Shirley Doe's place here tonight.
Don't let that smile fool you. Meg Myers is a walking mental institution.
Oh, this chick is creepy, and you know what? I've seen some creepy chicks in my day, but she takes the cake.
And trust me, Meg Myers doesn't like anybody.
I hear she's got a thing for handicapped people. She don't like them too well.
Are we actually going to see this matchup here?
It appears to be. Well, at least there's no difference in height. Keith's a little more robust than Miss Myers.
I don't know if it's going to be a handicap match or what here. And maybe that's the psychological warfare being employed immediately from Shirley Doe.
Do not let the crazy fool you. Shirley Doe is a sick mind. He's twisted, but he knows what he's doing at all times. This young Miss Meg Myers, she's new to the scene, but learning under the knowledge of Shirley Doe, without a doubt, she's going to become even sicker as time goes on.
Notice how Doe uses every part of the ring as a weapon, raking the face of Keith Haught across the ropes just moments ago. Every scenario, every situation, Doe exploits to punish an opponent.
Oh, without a doubt. If he could pick the ring up and hit you with it, he would.
And with as much heart and tenacity as we've seen from Keith Haught, I don't know if that's going to be able to match the violent nature of Doe, but Keith Haught avoided the contact and he's going to rally back here. Momentum is the wheelhouse of the Bearcat.
And those knife-edge style thrusts, that's a signature of Shirley Doe, but Keith Haught is using them to his advantage right now. And Jim, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Meg Myers seems to be acting more like a tag team partner than a lady at ringside.
Well, this may be some sort of a twisted handicap match, I'm not sure. But we've talked about how dangerous Doe is. He just planted two thumbs into the eye of the Bearcat.
Come on,
And the fact that Meg Myers derives pleasure out of this situation is what really scares you.
Taking full advantage of Shirley Doe's distraction of the referee. This young lady's learning well from this sick individual, Shirley Doe.
And notice the unadulterated, unfiltered, violent nature of Shirley Doe. You can hear the bone-on-bone contact.
You cheater!
Yeah, cheat the whole match!
Did you hear the thug with that forearm shot?
Oh, he puts everything behind it. All his weight, all his muscle, all the bone behind each and every shot. You know, Shirley Doe does not look like much physically, but this man can surely inflict punishment.
But you can see it right there, just a kick to the sternum. And it's no accident that that's where that kick landed. Everything that Shirley Doe does, as you mentioned, is done with malice and intent.
Oh, there's no doubt. Everything he does is deliberate. Like I said, don't let this guy fool you by the level of crazy he at times exhibits.
Look out.
Oh, look out. Here we go.
And look at the sadistic smirk on the face of Megan Myers. She truly enjoys this stuff.
Keith Haught is basically, yes, as you mentioned before, it's like a handicap match. He's got to fight both Shirley Doe and Meg Myers at this point.
And here we see the positioning of Nick Davidson trying to deal with Meg Myers, going to allow Doe to just plant the clothesline in the throat.
That's it. You know, he did not hit him across the chest. He brought that up into the throat area. Not necessarily 100% legal, but hey, the ref doesn't see the placement. It's not cheating if you don't get caught.
And this neck crank is another prime example of the sadistic side of Shirley Doe, because he wants to wrench, twist, and contort the neck of the Bearcat here.
Shirley Doe is trained in dojos all over the world between here and Japan. He knows a lot about pain and how to inflict it.
The Bearcat's head bouncing off the canvas that time. You know, Paul, as 2019 starts here for Ryse Pro Wrestling, we're looking at potentially the biggest year in the history of Ryse. We've got IndyWrestling.us, of course, distributing us through Sidekick Media and the Indie Wrestling Network, in association, of course, with our distributing partner, Smart Mark Video. And Doe wants to use that platform to inflict as much pain as he possibly can.
That's very true. And, you know, as big of a high note as we ended 2018 on, Ryse Wrestling has nowhere to go but up from here. And to starting off the year with a match of this caliber, Shirley Doe, worldwide phenomenon. The Bearcat, who has been all over the tri-state area. These guys have won championships. They've been in hard-fought matches of all shapes and styles. And this is just our opening match.
Absolutely. And you know that Doe, I mean, obviously, a nearly 25-year pro has the experience advantage over Keith Haught, but Keith Haught will seemingly have a speed advantage, which we could see be put into play here. Swing and a miss from Doe, and the Bearcat is rolling.
Okay, Bearcat's firing up here now on Shirley Doe.
Momentum is a real trademark of Keith Haught.
There's a little flip-flop and fly.
Beautiful senton squashes Doe, hooking the inside leg there.
Oh, he almost had him. Almost had him.
And I have to think, Paul, I mean, you've talked about it, the resume of Shirley Doe, 25-year pro, international experience. If Keith Haught is able to rack up a win over Shirley Doe, that really elevates Keith Haught's standing inside Ryse here.
By 5 minutes.
Doe going for that silly head DDT. Keith Haught with a roundhouse kick caught Doe right in the back of the neck.
He stunned Doe with that. I mean, Doe went straight down. He dropped like a ton of bricks. And this packed crowd in Lamont Furnace getting behind Keith Haught as he's going to take a chance.
Here comes the crazy. Is she going to do what I think she's going to do?
No way. Keith Haught's too big. Keith Haught's too big. This is a dangerous situation.
Our referee has got her out of the way, and
Myers hits the canvas.
I think she's about to pay for getting involved in this match.
Oh, look out!
Call it a hunch. Oh, splat!
Meg Myers, I believe, is no longer a factor, but the maniacal dough is up.
Somebody call IHOP and flap ass flapjack out of the
Silly
ring.
head DDT.
He's got him, but the ref's out of position.
And that'll do it.
Your winner by pinfall, Shirley Doe.
Meg Myers took the shot. She took the bullet, but with the grindhouse, it's win by any means necessary, and Doe's reign of terror may just be starting here in 2019.
And that is exactly what Meg Myers is. He's a pawn in Doe's game. He will use every member of Grindhouse to his full advantage. And I think they like pain to begin with, but he don't care if his own gets hurt as long as they get the victory.
The bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. The Grindhouse may be the most dangerous faction in Ryse today. Marcus Mann, the head of Ryse Talent Relations, has some very big announcements. I don't know what it is, the rumor mill. Is this something pretty heavy, Paul?
I heard the rumors milling in the back, and I'm telling you right now, this is going to put Ryse on the map. This is going to be a huge, huge announcement for Marcus Mann.
Let's see what Marcus has to say here.
How's everyone doing tonight? All right, so 2018 was Ryse's biggest year, and if I'm looking out here right now, it feels like 2019 is going to be even bigger. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. This is so heartwarming to see everyone here tonight. We had a big year, but it's not over. It's time to make 2019 even bigger. The first thing we need to talk about is Uprise. Uprise was a show that we brought in late in 2018 with young wrestlers from all over the area trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get to our Ryse shows that you see here. We are very proud that we are bringing Uprise back on January 18th, right here in 2 weeks. It'll be a Friday night. We're going to bring some wrestlers you haven't seen before, some that you have, young, hungry people that really want to make our roster, and it's something that we're really, really proud about. We are going to announce the feature presentation for that show in just a second. What we try to do every time is have someone from that roster get an opportunity against one of the wrestlers in the back here. And if they win that match, they make the main roster. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to pick a random member from Uprise and a random member from Ryse. And they're going to compete on January 18th. So I think we have a little randomization. If you can hit it in the back and see who we're going to have in our main event on January 18th.
A hidden gem of the independent wrestling business will step into the ring with David Wallace.
I'm not done yet, guys. I'm not done yet. So far, I want to say in 2018, I was so proud of both Lee Moriarty and Matt Conard for representing this company as champion. Both had fantastic reigns, but in my opinion, it is time that it's no longer on one person's shoulders to carry this company. So, starting on February 2nd at our show right here, we are starting a tournament, and that tournament will crown brand new tag team champions.
Wow!
And because the tag division has gotten so exciting here, I feel that 2 teams have already qualified for that tournament. The first team, based on what they did at our anniversary show, showed me heart and determination and that they deserve a chance to be tag team champions, and that's going to be System Elite. And the other tag team that has qualified already has been the team that has been the most dominant tag team in Pittsburgh, and that is the Main Event.
A whole new dynamic to Ryse.
Will be in the tournament. Both tag teams will get their opportunity to be crowned the first ever Ryse Tag Team Champions. I'm so excited for 2019. Are you guys excited for 2019? Let me hear it. What I'm extra excited about then is our next match, Christy. We got a lot of show to go, so get ready. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Let's go.
Are you excited?
They see me mowing my front lawn. I know they're all thinking I'm so wide and nerdy. Just too wide and nerdy. Just too wide and nerdy. Just see I'm white and nerdy. Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I want to roll with it.
First to the ring, hailing from Cambridge, Massachusetts, and weighing in at 150 pounds, the Nerd, Lewis!
As we see Lewis make his way to the ring, Paul, I would be remiss, I gotta say it, Tag Team Championship Tournament starting out at our next Ryse event, February 2nd, a whole new dynamic to Ryse, a history-making year already in 2019.
Without a doubt, blockbuster announcement by Marcus Mann.
Right to him.
Braddock really find himself in 2018 with that huge victory over Bulk Nasty and racking up some wins that followed. But the bottom line is we've seen BC Steel stick his nose in Drake Braddock's business on more than one occasion. We know Steel is in the building tonight. You have to wonder, is Drake Braddock fully focused on the challenge in front of him?
Oh yeah, BC Steel got his feathers a little ruffled over that big victory by Drake Braddock. But tonight, here at Ryse, he's going to take on who I like to call the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling, Lewis.
And of course, Ricky Morton, I'm sure everyone knows his lengthy list of accomplishments, but he was known as having the biggest heart in professional wrestling during his prime. And you may say that Lewis has the biggest heart in Ryse, because we've seen Lewis, we've seen him take his lumps. He's had an up and down year in 2018. We know that Lewis wants to take the positive momentum of 2018, bring it up to this year as we start off here, January 5th of 2019 at the Stronghold. My name is Jim Amata. He is the legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atlas.
That's right. Lewis had some major losses this year to both Magnum CK and Christian Noir, but I'm sure Lewis has tried to put all that behind him, making his re-debut, if you will, back here at Ryse Wrestling in 2019. Lewis is hoping to, no pun intended, rise to the occasion.
And real quick, I want to say Magnum CK, due to a back injury, has had to retire from in-ring competition, but we certainly appreciate everything that Magnum brought to the table. So certainly good luck to Magnum CK as he continues his outside of the ring career. And I believe Lewis is trying to assimilate with some of the vernacular of the bullet catcher.
Seems that way.
Now, I believe this matchup here really personifies the foundation. Wait, shoulders down here. Really
Almost a quick one.
Personifies the foundation of Ryse as we're having two young athletes go at an in-ring competition to find out just who is the best on any given night. And we know this is a very evenly matched contest between experience and skill level, as you can see right here.
Yep. And a little bit of sportsmanship on top of it. Something you don't often see here.
I know you weren't exactly, you didn't make sportsmanship one of your main traits during your in-ring career.
No, I'd rather punch him in the mouth and shake his hand, but you know, hey, it's all about making money.
Side headlock here from Drake Braddock. Lewis shoots him off. Braddock gets the advantage here. We could say Drake Braddock has the strength advantage coming into this one, up and over. And look at the way that Lewis just suckered the bullet catcher in. Series of arm drags. And man, does Lewis get rolling.
That was an excellent series of moves by Lewis. I think he spent some time training, not just all the time in the books. He does exhibit some athletic prowess here and there.
Absolutely, he is deceptively agile. Nice series of kicks from the martial arts expert.
With that military training, those kicks are lethal.
Bullet catcher hooks the inside leg.
But there you see, once again, like I said, the Ricky Morton of Ryse Wrestling. Lewis digs down deep and kick out of that pinfall.
That's one thing we can say. 2018 was a mixed bag for Lewis when it comes to his win-loss record. But he never lost that enthusiasm. He never lost his desire to compete. And he always gives everything in his body when he's inside the squared circle with a stronghold.
There's no two ways about that, Jim. This young man has a heart as big as All Outdoors. He will fight tooth and nail, and despite the setbacks, he is still here competing in 2019, looking to turn back that clock, turn around that whole thing that went on last year, and get back to the top at Ryse. This man was a major contender for the Ryse Grand Championship at one point last year, and I know Lewis wants to get there again.
He may be checking for his teeth because he took 2 feet right in the face. Look at the bullet catcher looking to twist Lewis into a pretzel here.
Form of an Indian deathlock.
Almost an inverted Indian deathlock. Or an inverted figure 4 as well, depending on which way Drake Braddock wants to turn this thing. But however Drake Braddock chooses to torque the legs, it's going to increase the pain on the face of Lewis here. But you can see the fight as he is inching his way towards the ropes. Finding a surcease with that bottom rope, but you know that the bullet catcher, always aggressive, will look to continue to press the advantage here.
That's right, and you know, the longer Lewis stayed in that hold, the more damage was done to that knee.
Shoulders down here.
Another close 2 count there, Jim.
And notice, even in that scenario, Drake Braddock is forcing Lewis to use the energy to extricate himself, to get his shoulders off the canvas.
Wear the opponent down, make him carry your weight. That's what he's doing here once again with this rear chin lock. Notice how he's leaning his body weight against Lewis's back and neck, making him carrying it, trying to cut the wind down on him.
And Lewis back to a vertical base here. Gonna try to fight out. Shoots Drake Braddock in. Swing and a miss from Drake. Lewis continues to avoid the contact. Man, big mid-ring collision.
Both men with the same idea.
All the air driven out of both athletes. And we're at a pivotal point here. The first man at their feet will have definitive advantage in the conclusion of this contest.
This may end up a double count out at this rate. Both those men collided with sheer violence.
That's an easy way to crack a rib, I'll tell you that. And you want to talk about fight, you want to talk about heart, these two are going to slug it out. Who wants it more here in 2019?
Lewis hulking up a little bit here, if I may coin a phrase.
Beautiful back elbow off the ropes.
That big back elbow, here you go, hooks the leg.
That was a perfect pinfall attempt from Lewis.
And let's not forget, you know, we talk about Lewis's heart, but Drake Braddock, a military man, a soldier, a fighter, he's not going to give up under any circumstances either. This man is taught to train and fight for his life and die if necessary, so he's going to be a hard man to beat. Sharpshooter.
And you can see the pain etched on the face of Lewis.
And this is where Drake Braddock has matured a little bit. Notice he keeps going back to that lower body. And where in the past he would change his direction on
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
On how he approached the match. But now he's working on the lower body of Lewis.
Standing switch here. Drake moves in, roll through, Pat O'Connor roll. Drake better be careful, he's not too over-aggressive. Crucifix pin, shoulders down now.
Both men are trading falls here now.
The pace quickens. Lewis avoids the contact. Schoolboy. Shoulders down, he got him.
Just like that.
And your winner, 6 minutes and 54 seconds, the Nerd, Lewis!
A tremendous back and forth contest. We may be seeing the start of a very fruitful year for Lewis here in the Stronghold.
And Lewis apparently has something to say here, Jim.
Drake, you're a worthy opponent. Marcus said there's a tag team tournament. I usually get picked last in dodgeball and kickball. But I feel like with you, we could be the best tag team in Ryse. Will you join me February 2nd for the tag team tournament? You know, Lewis, we've tangled a few times before. And you know what? Even though I was my squad leader in basic training, I know a warrior when I see it. Because every time I'm beside you, you are the best fighter, you have the most heart, and I'll tell you what, when we're out there, we always sell t-shirts. So 2019, I think it's gonna be the year of military intelligence. So, Lewis, I've got one answer for you. Will I be your tag team partner? Yes, nerd.
And there we have it, Jim. It looks like two men are throwing their hats into the proverbial ring for our tag team tournament. This is how special this is. Wait a minute.
February 2nd, we will kick off the Ryse Tag Team Tournament. I'm not sure what this interruption is for, however.
Wow, that's all I can say about what I see on our monitor right now.
Well, clearly PC Steel does have that unresolved business with with Drake Braddock, because why the hell is he out here?
I don't know, but I want to know where the hell Couture gets his tights. Has he been in Adrian Street's closet? This ought to be good.
Let me just say, how great it's going to be to see Lewis and Drake Braddock as a tag team here in Ryse. And it's going to be great for this reason. I heard a little birdie by the name of Marcus Mann talk about a tag team title tournament here in Ryse, and you mentioned February 2nd, it's going to be me and Drake Braddock as a tag team. So that was pretty good. So what I'm thinking is, how about military intelligence takes on the team of Robert Parker Williams and Calvin Couture Golden Sheik in the first round.
I guess Spicy Steel's now a matchmaker.
It's very simple. Yes or no.
It's fantastic, you know, BC, you're here tonight and you issue these challenges. Because the last time I checked, haven't I beaten 3 of your cronies? Have I beaten Bulk Nasty? No. Have I beaten Zach Thomas? And did RPW not have the guts to show up tonight?
He's got a point.
He has an injured foot. You missed so much damage.
Oh, nice tights. I think.
Think harder. Think harder.
So, BC Steel, if you want the chat, you got something to say, Lewis? Lewis,
Calm down. Calm down.
what do you want to do right now, Lewis? What do you want to do right now, Private? I say, we fight right now! Fight right now! Wait. Didn't you?
Wait.
You wanted to what? You had an idea before.
I need to train.
Doing this, and I've never seen that. However, since we don't have a match,
Hey, God answer our prayers, and someone killed BC's mic.
That's the best he's ever sound.
to show you the face and walk of 2019.
Okay, I can talk with this one. Hey, it's time for Calvin Couture to give the face and walk of 2019. Take it to him.
Oh, no. Oh, those trunks are so out, it's offensive.
My ears are hurting, along with my eyes and everything else. Does he have that shirt tied in the back?
We actually have another match to get to.
God bless Christy K.
The boss's wife has spoken.
Estrogen running wild. Christy K takes control, and God bless her for it.
You know it.
Our next match is scheduled for one fall with a 20-minute time limit.
The fiercest female on the Ryse roster. The ferocious honey badger could look to tear Calvin Couture apart.
And the feral female, another one making her read debut here tonight at Ryse Wrestling after a pretty up and down 2018 for this young lady, but she looks like she's raring to go.
Hey, Paul, where do you think Calvin Couture found those trunks?
I think he's been in Adrian Street's closet. That's all I can say.
I think Calvin made a visit to Plato's Retreat or something to find that way.
And I'm sure the streets that he walked, he's never quite seen anything like Honey Badger.
Honey Badger, a young lady that is as unorthodox as she is unique. And not only will she start off the year here at Ryse, but later on this year, she has scheduled matchups as far away as Chicago, so it's certainly great to have a chance to see Honey Badger here inside the Stronghold. And
this young lady's got something to prove. She felt like the other women of Ryse, she's been kind of left on the outside looking in, so I'm sure she's looking at, well...
And I believe Calvin Couture may need to...
we may need to get an AED for him.
He may need a new pair of trunks after that scare.
This is true. I think there's a Walmart down the street. And now a little tug-of-war here with Calvin.
It's a Couture tug-of-war. I think Calvin's going to be a few inches taller after this is done with.
I got 20 on Badger.
BC Steele showing his lack of any muscle definition. And now Badger dragging her prey, so to speak, around the squared circle.
Well, this young lady definitely likes to toy with her food before she puts it away. And right now, she's looking at Calvin Couture like a steak.
That perfectly placed hair may be all out of sorts for Calvin Couture once he's done with this matchup. And you want to talk about Badger with that low center of gravity, able to generate power. She just heaved the carcass of Couture across the ring. Badger's so threatening, she's going after BC. But Calvin, there's no shortcut he won't take.
That's true. The distraction of BC Steele once again paying off.
You know, as much as Calvin Couture is an oddball, he focuses much of his career on being a fashionista, so to speak, with Vogue and Louis Vuitton. The bottom line is Calvin Couture is a capable athlete. We see it every time he's in the ring here.
Oh, let's not forget. If you're here in Ryse Wrestling, you are a top-notch athlete. I mean, he may look a little strange. He may dress a little strange. He may spend a little bit too much time in the Fredericks of Hollywood catalog. But this guy is an athlete, just like all of our athletes here are, and they're all top-notch.
And that's the just nasty side of Couture, raking the face of the Badger off the ropes. And here's BC getting involved.
One of his shortcuts.
Now notice, when Honey Badger was standing on a vertical base, BC was running for his life.
Well, that's typical of this little worm.
And Couture very proud of himself. Couture also, despite being in his formative years of wrestling, also brings a sense of ring generalship to the squared circle. He always knows where he is in there. This is a true story, Paul. I swear to God, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. I overheard BC and Calvin Couture talking about what type of spray tan they were going to use for tonight.
Wow. And I don't know what to say about that.
Well, one way or another, I believe the carcass of Couture is going to be all sorts of red after Honey Badger's done with him.
She just knocked the tan right off of him.
Just raking the torso of Calvin Couture.
Using those claws to her full advantage. And yeah, once again, vertical base, and BC's out of there. Well-placed knees to the facial area. He may have to take some time off before his next photo shoot.
She's the Honey Badger in charge, and she's in charge of that ring right now. That's Badger territory. She goes for that diving knee. Couture avoids the contact.
Oh,
but not that time, right in the sternum. Couture could be out of it. And BC getting blatantly involved, but as you said, Paul, there's no surprise there.
No, not at all. And again, you talked about that ring generalship. Couture knew exactly where he was in the ring, knew to get that leg out there to BC and take full advantage of it.
That's really some of the intangibles of professional wrestling, wouldn't you say?
Oh, without a doubt. You've got to know where you're at in that ring at all time. I mean, Honey Badger, she goes on raw emotion a lot of times. And not
she's stalking her prey. Couture's fixing his hair. And I believe he may need yet another new pair of trunks.
Oh, yeah.
Couture's going to need a catalog of outfits to cover this matchup.
I don't know if they sell those in six-packs, but I hope he got a few more pairs.
Now, wait a minute. BC has a hold of the Honey Badger, and again, it's going to allow Couture to exploit the advantage.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
Yeah, much like we talked about in our opening match, Honey Badger is sort of in a handicap match here. Anytime you've got somebody on the outside, like a BC Steel, you are essentially fighting two opponents.
And this is very wise wrestling, again going back to the ring IQ of Calvin Couture, slowing the momentum of the Honey Badger down. Because as you said, she runs on raw emotion. When you can keep her grounded, you can really dictate the direction of the contest. And that's exactly what Calvin Couture is trying to do right here. But this crowd at the Stronghold really behind the Honey Badger, who is going to bite some of the metacarpals of Calvin Couture.
A big belly-to-belly suplex.
And again, come on, man. BC Steel getting involved. This charlatan finally getting what he deserves. He took one right in the face.
Well, thank you. You said what we were all thinking out loud. Shut up.
Back heel kick from Couture. Hooks Badger up.
And
she's just going to take a bite out of the calf of Couture.
I think she thought it was a turkey leg.
Swing and a miss from Couture. And I believe that visual kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Without a doubt. She's got him set up here.
Stunner, she hit it. Could be all here, hooks the leg, and the Badger got it.
Your winner by pinfall at 6 minutes and 34 seconds, the Honey Badger!
This ferocious female is putting the rest of Ryse on notice. There is only one Honey Badger in charge.
And she has kicked off 2019 with a huge victory over Calvin Couture.
This is Super Hentai.
And as you said, Jim, Hentai has trained in the dojos of Japan. He has been all over the world. And we are finally going to get the match we were promised at our anniversary event just a few months ago when that thing was interrupted by Grindhouse. Hopefully tonight they keep their nose out of it because we are going to see a Steel City Classic.
to square off with Super Hentai.
That's right. The owner, the creator, and our boss, Brandon Kay, the man who has made Ryse Wrestling what it is today with his vision. And again, as I stated, we are now hopefully going to finally get that match we were promised at the anniversary event.
Of course, my name's Jim Amata, being joined by legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atwis. We are here for IndyWrestling.us in association with Sidekick Media and the Indie Wrestling Network. And what the hell is Grindhouse ruined this matchup last month at our second anniversary show. Doe needs to get the hell out of here.
This isn't going to happen again. Somebody's got to do something about this.
What the hell is Doe doing? We cannot allow Doe to do this again.
This cannot happen twice in a row. Somebody has got to do something about this. Somebody, see, if you can hear me in the back, let's get security out here.
This matchup is nearly 20 years in the making here.
And hold on.
And what the hell is Derek Direction out here? What the hell is this, a convention?
Hold on, hold on. What?
Let them have their old-time tea party deal. Come on.
And I don't believe I'm saying this, but I think Derek Direction was just the voice of reason.
For the first time in his life, Derek Direction did something noteworthy, did something noble.
We could be in real trouble when he's the voice of reason.
Now, if we can get back to business.
Have fun, shit in the bed.
If we can get back to business here, Super Hentai Brandon Kay had a barn burner of a matchup nearly 20 years ago that put them both respectively on the map in Pittsburgh professional wrestling. This rematch is nearly 2 decades in the making, of course, part of Brandon Kay's 2019 retirement tour, as this legendary, influential figure of Pittsburgh professional wrestling will hang it up at the end of this year.
And what a way to start off that tour. Super Hentai, the world traveler, the man, as I stated before, is trained in dojos in Japan. He is trained all over the world, and he is, without a doubt, an icon in his own right. These are 2 definite icons on the Pittsburgh wrestling scene.
As we said, it was at our second anniversary show. This matchup was scheduled, was ruined by the Grindhouse, but we have it here in 2019. And these two are so smooth, so well polished, you can expect a back and forth, evenly matched contest.
And not only that, they are so familiar with each other's moves, as we saw in that exchange there. Each man knowing exactly where the other one was going.
Chest smash, right?
Of course, both Super Hentai and Brandon Kay have been so influential in their respective time as trainers. And Hentai got caught ducking his head. Brandon dropped the leg across the back of the neck. Hentai got hung up on the ropes.
And you know, as much as you may or may not want to say it, or you may not hate it, that's what you want to see. I mean, both men now are going to pull out all the stops. They're not just going to shake hands and kiss and make up and have a friendly little match. These guys are going to go at it one-on-one.
And the bottom line is, Paul, this is Brandon Kay's retirement tour. You know that Brandon Kay does not want to go out on a down note. He wants to prove that when he hangs it up, he will be as good as he ever was when he decides to retire from in-ring competition.
Oh, without it, he wants to go out on top. He does not want to go out with a bunch of losses. And it's not to say he's hand-picking his opponents.
Oh, no way. You want to pick Super Hentai, one of the most experienced guys? That is a dangerous opposition.
Exactly. He's not going for cakewalks here. He's going for top-notch athletes, top-notch wrestlers, men who have made more than a name for themselves. And if he's kicking it off with here, I can't wait to see who else Brandon's going to challenge over the course of the next year. Because let's face it, this alone is a main event match anywhere in the tri-state area.
Absolutely correct. These 2 athletes have been main event competitors throughout their time in professional wrestling. And to have them both here squaring off at Ryse, I have to tell you, it really is an honor to call such an influential contest. Brandon gets his shoulders off the canvas there.
And I have been up and down the road with both of these gentlemen. And I tell you what, to sit here, like you said, Jim, and call a match between these 2, it's one of the proudest moments of my life and one of the biggest accomplishments to be able to do this.
Lateral press here. Super Hentai finds 2. And you can see that brace on the knee of Super Hentai. He tweaked that knee the last time he was in this building, but by all accounts, he's medically cleared. Has that brace for stability. And we're going to see a fully healed and fully focused Super Hentai.
Oh, without a doubt. If he loses this match, he's not going to use that knee for an excuse by any means.
Brandon trying to work his way back up. Gonna fight his way out here, but that takes a hell of a lot of fight when you're in there with someone as powerful as Super Hentai. Hentai hits the canvas very, very hard that time.
He smacked the back of his head off there. He may have a concussion.
5 minutes gone by. 5 minutes.
Hentai looks like he's trying to clear the cobwebs right now after his head snapping off that canvas.
And Brandon fighting with a sense of urgency. You know, if you get any type of advantage over someone like Super Hentai, you have to press it, you have to go with it, because that could be your only chance to get an edge over someone as well established, as legendary as Hentai. Lateral press finds 2.
Brandon K almost making a rookie mistake there. He did not hook the leg. And you are not going to keep Hentai down if you don't hook that leg.
You have to wonder if Brandon's having any jitters, knowing that this is his last run. Will he overthink that that equation? And I'm going to ask you, Paul, because you had your career ended after several injuries. You didn't have a chance to have a proper send-off.
I did not.
What does it do to your psyche mentally coming into a matchup knowing that you're on your last run inside the ring?
Well, that's true. You know, I didn't have time to think about, oh, I'm going to retire after this and that. My career ending abruptly after the final knee injury that caused me to have to walk away. And, you know, Brandon now knows that the end of this line, his career is over. So that's got to be playing in the back of his mind. And hopefully it doesn't overplay in the back of his mind. Sometimes I thank the stars that it happened that way. I didn't see the end coming. But Brandon knows that light's at the end of the tunnel.
It has to be very, I'm sure it was an emotional decision as well for Brandon K to decide, hey, I'm going to hang it up while I still have my health mostly intact. I mean, because we know that this is a very rough business to be in.
Yes, and to now have to think, hey, I'm doing this, I'm walking away, but I'm not doing it for an entire year. I will walk away at the end of this year. He's got to get through that year. And hopefully it ends up the way Brandon thinks it will. I think it will, because Brandon knows what he's doing. Sometimes I thank my stars that it was an abrupt ending for myself, because I don't know that I could actually sit there and say, hey, I'm going on a retirement tour.
Uh-oh. High-risk situation here. Hentai has Brandon hooked up. Dangerous here. Superplex from the top.
And both men are feeling the full effects of that. Not only is Brandon, but Hentai as well. That took a lot out of both men.
Man, that was a nasty collision. Both men hit the canvas very, very hard.
And like we talked about, you know, at any given moment, a career can end in an instant. You know, let's face it, picking these types of opponents, Brandon could seriously not make it to the end of this year. He may have to retire sooner rather than later if this keeps up.
Big series of knockdowns from Hentai. We've talked about the resume of Super Hentai. He is a real surgeon inside the squared circle. And you can see it here, perfect placement. And has Brandon down on the canvas.
That was close.
Brandon just barely rolls that left shoulder out. Hentai hits the ropes here, roll through. Shoulders down again. And Brandon, for on a rare occasion, I may be all out of sorts here as he tries to get Hentai's shoulders down to the canvas.
And this is taking a lot out of both men.
Look at the core strength from Brandon K, able to hang on.
That big Russian leg sweep.
Hooking the arm, shoulders down again. Innovative pinfall predicament. Still only finding 2.
But each one's getting closer and closer.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much Hentai has left in him. Actually, I don't know how much Brandon has left in him at this point.
It's men like yourself, Paul, men like Brandon K, men like Super Hentai that truly built the foundation of Pittsburgh professional wrestling.
I appreciate those comments, but yes, you are. That is true. I mean, we've all left a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to build this area up, and these two guys are still going at it.
Diving knee strike, hooks the leg this time, and Hentai barely gets that shoulder up.
I'm telling you, he's getting closer and closer each and every pinfall. That hand is coming closer and closer to that canvas on that third strike.
And you can see the physical exhaustion on the face of each of these athletes as we're getting the 10-minute call from Christy K.
And that's, 10 minutes may not seem like a lot to some people, but this has been a car crash for 10 solid minutes. Imagine being in a car wreck for 10 minutes straight.
Brandon having a sense of urgency, really going to try to put his foot on the gas. Innovative escape from Hentai.
There goes that familiarity again, each man knowing what the other one's going to do next.
What agility from Super Hentai as he finds himself perched up top. Hentai going to take a swing here.
Again, like I said, not that he'll use it as an excuse, but that knee is not 100%.
We are getting closer and closer to a conclusion in this contest, and it may be a matter of time, but Hentai walked right into the super kick.
I believe he's out on his feet, Jim. I think this is it.
Brandon shoots the half, hooks the leg this time, could be up. Hentai escapes.
I don't know how he kicked out of that. He seemed completely out on his feet at that point.
And you can see the pained expression on the face of Brandon K. Some frustration has to be setting in. Paul, when you hit your opponent with a plus shot like that, when they kick out, what does that do to your mindset as the contest continues?
Eventually you start to begin to think to yourself, what can I do to put this man away? What do I got to hit him with? And it wears on you a little bit.
It's a slugfest here. The technique has gone out the window. It's gut check time. Who wants it more? Which one of these Pittsburgh legends will be victorious here as we kick off 2019?
You know, we've talked about both of their accomplishments as technical wrestlers, but they are both fighters as well.
Release German, put Hentai right on the back of his head.
He's got him up now.
Brandon elevates him.
He's got him with the K-driver.
K-driver, this has to be all unbelievable.
Oh my gosh. What more does Brandon K have to do to put Hentai down?
Brandon K looks shocked, and quite frankly, so am I. Brandon K has won dozens of championships with that very maneuver. And now you can tell Brandon's getting a little desperate. Gonna head up top, gonna take a chance. Diving headbutt, no water in the pool. Brandon's face bouncing right off the canvas.
Hentai trying to work his way up to take advantage of this.
Super Hentai, that fighting spirit that he learned in Japan. Nip up, roll through, wait, Brandon put the brakes on. He got him.
Just like that, one down. Brandon K pulls it out over Super Hentai.
Your winner at 13 minutes and 5 seconds by pinfall, first class, Brandon K.
It was a human chess match, and it was one slight slip that allowed Brandon K to pick up the victory. And Paul, if the Brandon K retirement tour are matches like that, Brandon K is in for a hell of 2019.
Without a doubt, like I said before, if this is just the first one, I can't wait to see what the rest are going to be.
It has been a pleasure to call the action of these two bona fide, undoubted Pittsburgh legends.
And there you see the mutual respect between Brandon K and Super Hentai. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
The founder of Ryse stands tall in the stronghold.
Yeah. No mess, no friends, just victory. I'm about to light up the night like a Christmas tree, yeah.
First to the ring, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio, and weighing in at 250 pounds, the Neon Tarantino, Derek Direction.
Back here for the second half of Ryse Pro Wrestling, January 5th, 2019. My name's Jim Amata, being joined by legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atlas. And the Neon Tarantino has some very big problems here as we start off the new year.
Without a doubt, Derek Direction set to take on PB Smooth. And let's face it, is he going to be able to handle the big man after the war he went through with Lee Moriarty in our anniversary event?
Cut! Your nails are ugly. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're only hired because you're branded
A perfect combination of size, speed, and agility. One of the hottest prospects in independent professional wrestling isn't Ryse.
Now to the ring, hailing from the concrete jungle of NYC, and weighing in at 259 pounds, Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth.
The 7-foot monster has arrived at Ryse Wrestling.
Making his Ryse debut at our second anniversary show, PB Smooth put Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham on the canvas for a 3 count. And now Dr. Dan's running buddy, Derek Direction, faces the same very big equation here tonight.
He's 7 feet tall. Don't take this beating like a man, boy.
Derek Direction pointing out the obvious here, that he's 7 foot tall.
Derek Direction's mouth is almost as big as PB Smooth is.
You got that right. But let's face it, how much did that war with Lee Moriarty take out of Derek Direction? That war that lasted months upon months, it had to take its toll on Derek Direction.
Well, certainly, Derek Direction is coming off the heels of winning an award here at Ryse. He and Jinx had the match of the year as voted by the fans. It was a tremendous contest. We called that matchup, Paul, but it was Derek Direction that came out on the losing end of that matchup with a slight assist from Lee Moriarty. As you said, of course, Derek and Lee had a war the last time that we were in this building. And as you said, we will have to see how that all shakes out. How will that affect Derek Direction? Will he be able to turn things around here as we start the new year?
And there you see the sheer power of PB Smooth. Derek Direction is not a small man, but he just tossed him about halfway across the ring like he was nothing.
PB Smooth, a man that brings so much potential to the table and has accomplished so much in just his early years in professional wrestling. PB Smooth, a former AIW Absolute Intense Wrestling tag team champion out of the state of Ohio.
And don't let the sheer size and street savvy of PB Smooth fool you. This man is an accomplished athlete. As you said, he has been a champion in this business, and that is nothing to take lightly.
We're gonna cut the rest of that. I'm about to beat him up.
Derek Direction asking for some edits to the tape here.
I don't think Sorg is going to accommodate Derek Direction's request. Direction off the ropes, runs into a brick wall.
Yeah, he may have to go for take 4.
You're supposed to go down, PB. We're gonna show you how to do it.
Apparently, PB Smooth didn't read Derek's script.
And take 2 was successful for PB Smooth.
Hey, at least Derek does his own stunts. And now they're claiming he's going to take his camera and hit the bricks.
I think Derek looks like he's going to cry.
He does now. You signed a contract there, kid. You got to get in there and take this guy on.
Well, whether he wants to. Oh, God! Choke slam on the apron.
And let me just say this, Jim. I know you've never actually been in a wrestling ring, and a lot of people talk about it's like a trampoline. There's a lot more give in the center of the ring, but that edge is sheer steel.
That's the steel ring frame.
Yeah, there's no padding there. There's nothing but steel and wood. And Derek Direction went slam down flat on his back. He may need to go see a chiropractor after this.
Derek Direction, you can see he's fighting with a sense of urgency here. He wants to get out of here in one piece. But he is all out of sorts. The Neon Tarantino may need a reshoot, a recut, because he is being physically dominated by PB Smooth.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to put this whole thing on the cutting room floor before it's all over. It's not going quite the way he thought it would.
Paul, this may be an ambitious prediction, but I believe we could be looking at a future Ryse Grand Champion in PB Smooth.
Oh, without a doubt, this man has made a huge impact, and he is definitely championship material. Matt Conard, he better be watching. Lee Moriarty, in case he does get by the main event tonight and beats Matt Conard, both these men better be scouting PB Smooth, because he's around for a long time, and he's going to be in a championship picture sooner rather than later.
Wise wrestling from Derek Direction. It may get you 15 yards in football, with a chop block here tonight may be the most effective offensive weapon that Derek Direction has, because he is essentially neutralizing the size of PB Smooth.
That's right. This isn't Heinz Field, so that was perfectly legal. And now he's got the big man off his feet. And let's face it, you want to chop a tree down, that's what you do. You start at the base.
And this is just Derek Direction blatantly breaking the rules, trying to choke the air, choke the life, take all the air away from PB Smooth.
Well, Derek Direction come out here all fun and games, but I think he realizes what a fight he's in now.
This is from Jake Roberts.
Spikes and snaps the knee down. And Paul is a man that has an artificial knee. You know as well as anybody, there are so many susceptible spots in the knee. The ACL, the MCL, the meniscus, the patella tendon, all susceptible to damage in this scenario.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, you take a big man off his feet this way, you do damage to that knee, and that's going to shorten careers.
And we know that Derek Direction, as much of a slime ball as he is, he can go inside those ring ropes, and that's what makes him dangerous, because you know he is going to target that knee. He's going to go after that knee like a pit bull.
You know, we may make fun of Derek for his Hollywood movie scenarios, but you know, as I've stated several times throughout the broadcast tonight, only the finest athletes appear here in Ryse. So if Derek Direction is here, he is an accomplished athlete. Don't get it wrong.
And you want to talk about how difficult it is to break into the Ryse roster. We have our Uprise system, where young athletes, if they want to make their way here to Ryse, they can impress on that Uprise stage. And in just 2 weeks here on January 18th, Friday, January 18th, that will be our next Uprise event here in the Stronghold.
That's it. You don't just get a spot on the roster here at Ryse. You've got to earn it. And Uprise is giving a lot of young talent an opportunity to do just that.
PB Smooth trying to extricate himself here. Plants a very large boot right into the face of Derek Direction.
And that's where those long legs of PB Smooth come in to be a definite factor and be a definite positive for him. He was able to kick Derek Direction off.
I don't think Derek Direction wants to exchange shots with PB Smooth.
Yeah, but just like that, he goes right back to that leg.
Rolling elbow misses, and Direction gets dropped down to the canvas.
And as impressive of an athlete as PB Smooth is, I've got to give credit where credit is due. Derek Direction is truly giving him a run for his money here tonight.
And now we're going to see, you know, we talked about in the opening moments of this contest, how much potential PB Smooth brings to the table. We're going to see if PB Smooth can weather some adversity here. When you're that athletically and physically gifted, do you have it in the heart? Can you dig down and take it? We're going to see if PB Smooth will answer that challenge. Innovative maneuver right there, hooks the leg. Direction gets that left shoulder off the canvas.
And I think that's because of the way he landed there. He did not get his full weight upon Derek Direction.
Maybe that injured knee hampering his mobility. PB Smooth sends Derek Direction into the ropes. Direction hangs on. Man, PB Smooth's hung up. This is bad news. Derek Direction has no conscience. We've seen that. He will take out a knee if he has to. If he puts PB Smooth on the shelf, Derek Direction won't think twice about it.
There we go, baby. Shut your fat mouth, you loser.
Innovative springboard leg drop has the big man hung up in the ropes, takes him down, hooks the leg. And I can't emphasize enough that this scenario has completely neutralized the size advantage for PB Smooth. He doesn't have the leverage that he normally has with his height. He is fighting from underneath, which is a rare spot for PB Smooth.
And this is where oh, wait a minute.
And just digging the fingers into the eye sockets. That's what I'm talking about. Derek Direction has no conscience. Quite frankly,
it's that maniacal streak, and that's how he's going to get in.
He's a fantastic wrestler, but the guy is an insufferable jerk.
But he's using all of that to his advantage right now and keeping this big man down.
No water in the pool for the moonsault. Direction was a little too pompous there, and it may cost it.
You're supposed to take that, PB.
PB Smooth trying to fight his way back here now, trying to get back up on that vertical base.
Avoids the contact. And Nick Davidson got squashed, and I believe Derek Direction knew exactly what he was doing there.
Yeah, there's that ring generalship we talked about earlier. He knows where he is at all times in that ring, and now it looks like he's going to try to take advantage of the fact that the referee is...
This is not a no disqualification matchup.
Yeah, but however, the ref is down. I don't think he can see what's going on right now.
Look out. Direction is a scumbag. The hell's he doing?
Oh, a little Eddie Guerrero here.
He's going to feign a chair shot. He's going to try to sell this to Nick Davidson. And Davidson has no idea what the hell happened. Direction is protesting.
He can't truly truly call what he didn't see.
Now Direction is incensed because his sell job isn't working here.
Derek Direction pleading his case right now.
Oh. You wanted the chair, you got the chair, pal.
Well, that time it did connect. And referee saying, hey, you want to bring a chair in the ring?
And he got it. The plan backfired on Derek Direction.
And I know some people might be thinking right now.
By pinfall, at 10 minutes and 23 seconds, Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth.
I know the question on our viewers' minds right now is why was that not a disqualification? But hey, Derek Direction brought that chair into the ring, and the ref said let him have it.
Absolutely, I believe the Neon Tarantino may demand a rewrite, but the bottom line is this script, this movie ends with PB Smooth victorious. And I'll say it again, I believe we may be looking at a future Ryse Grand Champion.
Without a doubt, this man is going to climb the ladder at Ryse in no time.
And now, will you please join me in welcoming the punk rock pyromaniac, Shawn Phoenix!
After a not only career-threatening, but a life-threatening injury, a serious accident that saw Shawn Phoenix life flight into a hospital last October, the Firebird is back. The Phoenix has risen. Shawn Phoenix is back in the stronghold.
Jim, this young man is lucky to be walking, let alone walking to a wrestling ring. He has gone through some real trying times, and he has asked to address our fans there at the Stronghold tonight. It'll be very interesting to see just how Shawn's doing.
Paul, I say this with no wrestling hyperbole whatsoever. I cannot tell you how much it truly warms my soul, how truly happy I am to see Shawn Phoenix back inside of a wrestling ring.
He is a great young man.
Shawn Phoenix has more heart than just about anybody. And you can tell any former wrestling wash-up on Twitter that I said that. Thanks for coming, Disco.
Hi, everyone. So, I'd like to address the elephant in the room. I do have a beard. So, some of you guys may or may not know I suffered a life-threatening injury back in October at another company. And I just wanted to have this time to address to the possibility that there might be one person here that doesn't know what happened. You guys are my family. Ryse Wrestling is my family, and you guys, that one person that's here that doesn't know, deserves to know what's going on. And some of you guys may have seen this. This is going to look very familiar to you, but if we can play the video.
It's supposed to be cringe. It really does.
I know that's hard to watch for some people, even with the actual impact removed, and I apologize for that. For what you guys didn't see, I smacked my head full force on the gymnasium floor and ended up breaking my skull. I ended up having a bleed in my brain. I suffered a concussion. I had a seizure. I ended up vomiting blood a couple times. I also broke the bone behind my ear, which fractured into my inner eardrum, and I will never hear out of my left ear ever again. I also suffered slight paralysis in the left side of my face. I tore the tendon off the bone of my thumb. I was in the hospital for 6 days. But I walked away. I never thought that I would have to do this, to stand in the ring, to stand on this canvas that I love, that I fought so hard to be a part of, to be a professional wrestler. It's all that I have ever wanted, and I've never thought that I would ever have to address a situation like this in my life. I love professional wrestling. It is all that I have. It is all that I love. And with that comes all of you. And I can't do this without you guys. So thank you for all the support you guys have given me, whether it be tweeting, sending me a message on Facebook. Waking up in the hospital to over 300 notifications was overwhelming, and I can never repay the love you guys gave me. So I asked for this opportunity a couple weeks ago because I knew that I had a doctor's appointment yesterday. So I would like to thank the guys backstage for allowing me to have this time. So I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I'm alive. The good news is I've been fortunate enough to dabble in some commentary, to dabble in some coaching, to even working on a documentary about all this has been keeping me occupied. So I'm super thankful for those opportunities, whether it be the commentary, coaching, or just hanging out backstage. I am so thankful to be alive. The bad news is there isn't really too much bad news. I admittedly didn't get the answers I wanted yesterday. I feel great. I look great. But I am not improving at the rate that I thought I was, which kind of scrambles everything that I thought I was going to say today. I had this all mapped out, what I wanted to say, and I wanted to come out here and say, guys, I'm coming back, but the results don't let me do that.
You'll get there.
Yes.
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 Thank you for being there, bro. You'll get there. It takes time. One day at a time.
So, I don't want to say this is goodbye, because it's not. I don't know how long this is going to be. And this is a very serious injury. This isn't a rolled ankle. This isn't a sprained wrist. This is legitimately my life. And if I'm told tomorrow that I'm cleared to wrestle, I'm still gonna take it easy. I'm still gonna wait a couple extra months. So this could be the last time you see me in the ring for a month. It could be 5 months, it could be a year. But I will be back, and I will fire it up!
One way or another, the Firebird, Shawn Phoenix, is unbreakable.
This young man is spectacular, and I hope all the best for him, not only in wrestling, but in life. Hopefully he comes back, but if he can't, God be with this young man, and I hope everything works out for him.
Moriarty looks to retain that championship here tonight. Will Moriarty reclaim the title to ascend to the top of the Mountain of Ryse once again?
Hailing from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and weighing in at 82 kilos, the apex of combat, Lee Moriarty! Hailing from Derry, Maine, and weighing in at 215 pounds, your Ryse Grand Champion, the Reaper, Matt Conard!
It is time for our feature presentation, Ryse Pro Wrestling. My name is Jim Amata, being joined by a legendary Pittsburgh athlete, Mr. Paul Atlas, here on IndyWrestling.us in association with Sidekick Media, the Indie Wrestling Network, and Smart Mark Video. We bring you Matt Conard, Lee Moriarty, the rubber match for the Ryse Grand Championship.
That's right, Jim. Our first ever Grand Champion versus the current Grand Champion. This is the third meeting between these two, and this will determine who is the true champion and the better man.
Who is the cornerstone of Ryse Pro Wrestling? Will it be the first or current Ryse Grand Champion? And quite frankly, Paul, we called it last July when Conard defeated Lee Moriarty for that championship. It was a Steel City Classic.
Without a doubt. And, you know, what you have here now is a man like Matt Conard, who spent his entire career climbing to the top of that mountain. He has now gotten there. You have Lee Moriarty, who climbed the mountain initially as the first Grand Champion. Both these men have tremendous pride, tremendous respect for each other, but both want to accomplish the same thing. Matt Conard wants to remain champion, and Lee Moriarty wants to become the first ever two-time Ryse Grand Champion.
Waist lock here from Moriarty. Conard escapes and maintains wrist control with the armbar. Moriarty rolls through, but Conard hangs on. You know, these two know each other so well, Paul, because not only did they have that barn burner matchup back in July of last year, but if you go back further than that, the finals of the first Ryse Grand Championship tournament, it was these two. That night, it was Moriarty victorious. Moriarty has a win over Conard. Conard has a win over Moriarty. And tonight, as I said in the opening moments of this contest, the rubber match. Who will walk out of here with the Ryse Grand Championship?
Jim, our Ryse Grand Championship, let's face it, for a majority of its inception has gone around two things. It's gone around Matt Conard, it's gone around Lee Moriarty. This whole thing has revolved. These two gentlemen have been tooth and nail after this championship for well over a year plus.
Absolutely correct. And because of those two prior contests, we know that Moriarty can beat Conard. We know that Conard can beat Moriarty, which is why you're seeing this feeling out process here. No one wants to make a mistake early on. No one wants a fluke loss when the stakes are this high. And look at the neck strength of Moriarty. Unbelievable.
Moriarty is always in the gym training. He's always in the ring training. This man is at the peak of athletic ability. He's at the peak of his athletic career right now. And he, again, much like several other competitors we had tonight, Lee Moriarty is an international competitor. He has trained in Mexico, as well as all over the eastern part of the United States.
Top wrist lock here from Moriarty as he rolled through. Almost a version of a standing Americana, going back to the Tiga style, that hybrid style of Moriarty. But you can see Matt Conard, who is so well versed himself, was able to immediately counter his way out.
Both these men are solid wrestlers. They both know their technique. They both know how to apply their holds and counter holds. This is going to be another Steel City Classic without a doubt.
Conard avoids the contact, as does Moriarty. Leg sweep from Lee, and he latches onto that arm immediately.
Trying to go for that arm bar and end this quickly. But notice Conard's blocking it.
Yeah, going for the grip there to keep that arm from being hyperextended. And we're seeing Conard goes for that heel hook. As I said, Paul, these two, they know the stakes here. No one wants to make a costly mistake. No one wants to fold under this pressure. But let me ask you, we know in December of 2017, when Lee defeated Matt Conard. We know in July of 2018, when Conard defeated Lee Moriarty. When you face an opponent multiple times in such a high pressure, oh, look at the way that Moriarty picked the ankle here. Leg sweep and maintains ankle control. Moriarty rolls through. Go behind. What agility from these two. Back and forth they go. Beautiful arm drag off the ropes.
There you see a lot of that Mexican-style lucha training coming out in Lee Moriarty now.
And Paul, let me ask you, these two have one loss apiece against one another. How do these two go into this rubber match? What is the mindset when you have an opponent that not only that you have defeated, but you have been defeated by?
Well, like we saw in the beginning, both men tried to put an early end to this match. I don't think either man really wants to get into a prolonged match. They want to put the other away quickly, move on with the Grand Championship, and I just don't. I think they feel that if, well, wait.
5 minutes gone by.
Look at the neck strength of Lee Moriarty.
That's
incredible.
Psychological warfare from Moriarty. He's letting Matt Conard know, hey, I'm capable of anything I want to inside of this squared circle. Moriarty taking that moment to showboat may be mind games more than anything else.
Oh, without a doubt.
And if you can, speak to that. You were in the ring 25 years. How much does the mental side of professional wrestling come into play, especially under circumstances like this? Championship circumstances here.
It's huge. If you can get inside your opponent's head, if you can get him thinking and doubting himself, you can gain that victory that much quicker. Now a version of a hog tie here by
Conard's
Moriarty.
tied up like a pretzel. And again, I'm going to go back to that mental warfare, the psychological warfare, the psychological aspect, excuse me, of a championship contest. Insult to injury, because Moriarty just buried 2 feet firmly into the ribcage of the Ryse Grand Champion.
You know, I'm going to say something here. You know, Lee is having a little bit of fun with Conard right now, but he better watch himself, because Conard is not going to take too kindly to this. He does not want to take this too lightly. I'm not saying he is, but he's having a little too much fun here right now. He might want to concentrate more on winning.
And you can hear the thud of those kicks from Moriarty. Standing switch from Conard. Moriarty does the same. Conard hangs on. And a kick right to the face. You can see Moriarty checking his teeth.
Yeah, he's not laughing and joking now, is he?
Conard hit that perfectly, and that is the caliber of athlete that we have here around the Grand Championship. Two polished professionals going at it for the Ryse Grand Championship here at the Stronghold. And you can see and hear the physicality between these two.
I mean, Conard is a lanky man. He's tall, he's thin, he's muscular, but he's also got a lot of power. His physical stature is very, very deceiving.
And he is ultra aggressive. And that's what I'm talking about when I tell you polished professionals, because Conard, wait, hook the leg here, inside leg. Moriarty gets out immediately, another sign of a true pro. But if you notice how Conard just buried both of those boots right between the shoulder blades, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. And he may now be focusing on that neck.
But yes, if you notice, every single thing he's done so far, strikes to the chest of Lee Moriarty, kicks to the back of Lee Moriarty. He's trying to take that wind away. Because Lee is known for his quickness, he's known for his agility, and he's known for his stamina. If he can knock the wind out of Lee, he's going to be that more susceptible to Conard's moves, and Conard's going to take this match.
Hooks the inside leg there. Yeah, absolutely. If you can't breathe, you can't fight. And Moriarty is clutching his sternum right here. And this is that aggressive, violent side of the Reaper, Matt Conard.
It is, and Conard is approaching this match perfectly. He's keeping Moriarty on the ground. That's where he's least dangerous. Lee is most dangerous when he's up on his feet, when he's flying around that ring. And Conard has completely grounded him now at this point.
Yeah, certainly with as smooth as Moriarty is inside the squared circle, it would bode well for Conard to rough up Lee Moriarty. Make this matchup nasty, turn this into a fight, and that's what we're seeing right here. Stiff European uppercut from Moriarty. And man, did Conard bury the knee into the breadbasket.
Once again, trying to take that wind away from Lee Moriarty, trying to keep him on the ground, keep him grounded, keep him from breathing.
Again, hooks the leg here. And again, Matt Conard forcing Moriarty to extricate himself, to exert the energy to kick out.
Each and every time he strikes Lee Moriarty, each and every time he puts his full body weight on Lee Moriarty, that takes that much more oxygen for Lee to try to kick out, for Lee to try to come back.
Conard caught the foot. Man, Conard ducked his head and got hit with a knee right in the temple.
Just like that, Lee Moriarty, I told you, this man is speed
10 minutes
personified.
gone by, 10 minutes.
He can strike at any time from any moment, and he just did. And now he's starting to tilt the ring in his favor.
The Ryse Grand Champion is seeing stars. What a kick. Caught Conard right in the side of the face. Double stomp, and that's what I'm talking about. Look how smooth, how quick Moriarty is. And notice how Conard, a sign of a true champion, got his shoulder up at the count of 1. As soon as Conard was aware that his shoulders were down, he instinctively kicked out. That is a championship caliber athlete right there. That is why Matt Conard is the Ryse Grand Champion.
Knowing where you're at in that ring at all times, knowing what is happening in that ring at all times. And again, yes, as you stated, getting that shoulder off the mat as quickly as possible. Now, sort of a variation of a backbreaker here by Lee Moriarty.
And we'll get him racked ahead of Conard off the buckles there. He may try to knock Conard out. Floats over, shoots to half. Finds 2 that time.
Even after all that punishment, all that stretching, Conard was still able to kick out as strongly at 2. And
look at Moriarty just wrench on that chin walk, trying to sap the energy out of the Ryse Grand Champion.
And this is a sign of a true athlete, a true smart athlete. Lee Moriarty is now adapting his style and almost fighting Conard's fight. If he can beat Conard at his own game, he can get inside Conard's head and get a victory.
What a physical contest. And what an evenly matched contest, as Conard was able to turn a tide that quickly.
And I'll tell you what, no matter who wins this match tonight, there's no shame for the other man.
Victory roll, shoulders down.
Trying for that backslide.
And the physical chess match that is taking place
the way
right
Conard's
here.
countering it there.
Up and over goes Lee. And a nasty mid-ring collision. This is like violent poetry in there. These two.
That took a lot out of both men.
So quick, so agile, but man, that was just blunt force trauma that time.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like I said, that took a lot out of both men. I think a little more out of Lee, though, because Conard's still upright.
Conard looking to press the advantage. May look for a home run swing to put Lee away here.
And as smart of a move as it is for Lee to try to fight Conard's fight, it also could be a disadvantage. And I think Conard is smart in getting Lee to try to fight his own fight.
Look at the head of Moriarty snap back upon impact that time.
Conard is firmly in control at this point of this match.
And again, back to that sternum, driving all of the air out of Moriarty again.
Notice how Conard used all his body weight in sending Lee into those buckles, even adding to the impact.
Look at the pain etched on the face of the challenger.
Jim, I have to say, at this point of the match, it's anybody's game here right now. There has really not been a clear-cut advantage by either one of these men.
Nasty neck breaker. Again, the head snaps upon impact. Hooks the leg. Crucifix pin. Moriarty counters. And that is the violent side of the champion, able to throw that kick and knock Moriarty down to the canvas yet again. And we know the heart that both of these athletes bring to the table, and that is why this is a hell of a contest.
I mean, let's face it.
Physically exhausting matchup.
We're about 10 minutes into this match, maybe 15 already, and these guys are still going non-stop, still going strong. There's no real sign of wear out of either one of these men as far as conditioning.
And you can hear the impact. Conard may be trying for a referee stoppage here. Conard may have gotten over-aggressive.
15 minutes gone by, 15 minutes.
Diving European uppercuts from Moriarty.
Nobody throws those uppercuts harder than Lee Moriarty.
Extra momentum for extra impact from the challenger. Misdirection from Conard. Moriarty fake Conard out that time. And he hit the kick right to the back of the head. We got a new champ, Paul. New champ.
I think Conard's out.
No, Conard.
I don't believe it. I thought for sure Conard was unconscious after that huge kick to the back of the head.
And Moriarty looks like he's at a loss. He doesn't know what to do now. He hit Conard absolutely perfectly, and that didn't get the job done.
I cannot believe that Conard is still conscious after that kick.
And you can sense it in this building. This Lamont Furnace crowd has such respect for the efforts of champion and challenger. You are seeing Pittsburgh professional wrestling personified here in the Stronghold. DDT from Conard. No, Moriarty escapes. Sends Conard into the buckles. Up and over goes Lee. Look out. Conard caught him, and Moriarty hits the canvas hard. No.
That is the closest to a final fall we've had yet today.
And now the tide has turned. We now see Matt Conard questioning himself.
This match has been completely back and forth. Like I've said, we're 15 plus minutes into this match, and there has not been a clear-cut advantage by either man to this point. Back and forth. It's going to take one quick 3 seconds for this match to be over.
Conard going a very rare situation where he's going to climb those ropes. He's going to take a swing here, going to take a chance. Moriarty from Matt Conard. I never thought I'd see that, but Conard's digging down. He's going as deep in the playbook as possible. What a right hand from the Black Dragon.
Solid, caught him right on the chin.
Bicycle kick, knocked Moriarty in mid-move. Hooks the legs. Moriarty kicked out, but Conard right into the heel hook. Transitioned seamlessly into the heel hook, and Moriarty has nowhere to go. It could be snap or tap for the apex of combat.
He's fighting heavily, trying to reach those ropes. But Conard's got that hold locked in tight.
Moriarty has pain surging through his body. He is screaming, and he inches his way to the ropes. But is the damage done here, Paul?
Well, he's definitely torn up that knee pretty good with that lock. The longer it was on, the more it took him to get to those ropes, the more damage was done.
That may be the turning point in this Grand Championship matchup.
I have to agree. At this point, we may have a definite advantage to Conard at this point now.
I got to be honest, Paul, I'm a little on edge just calling this thing.
These two guys are definitely leaving it all on the mat tonight, regardless of who wins.
Who will be the foundation of Ryse in 2019? And Moriarty gets Conard down to the canvas with that Fujiwara armbar, trying to hyperextend the elbow.
He's got it locked in tight.
Trying to dislocate the shoulder. Moriarty is wrenching, twisting on that arm with everything he's got. Shoulders down.
Conard switched it over.
Conard with as much of a defensive maneuver as an offensive maneuver that time. Swing and a miss from Conard. He caught Moriarty that time. Moriarty's on Dream Street. Moriarty is staggered. But a rolling kick out of the corner. Unbelievable.
Just when you think one man has the advantage, the other one snatches his back that quickly. I don't know what it's going to take for one of these guys to beat the other.
This is heart. This is determination. This is desire. These are two athletes in the prime of their respective careers, giving everything they have, every ounce of energy in their body for that Ryse Grand Championship.
Both men trying to fight their way up off this canvas. Referee's up to 7.
Arm over.
What is it going to take?
20 minutes gone by. 20 minutes.
What is it going to take for one of these men to pull out a victory here tonight? Both of these guys have given everything they have. They are completely emptying the tank here.
Paul, I've had the pleasure to call some tremendous matches here with you at Ryse. This matchup may surpass all of that, because we are seeing these two athletes pour their souls into that squared circle. How bad do you want it? Who wants to be the grand champion more?
At this point, both men want it so badly, I don't know what it's going to take. I have been all over the country in this business, and I can tell you right now, I have never seen two men fight.
Oh, man. Did you hear the contact that time?
That was ridiculously loud. Like I said, I've never seen two men fight harder for a championship than I have here at Ryse. That shows you just what it means to be the Ryse Grand Champion. Just by the way these two men are fighting tooth and nail to be for the honor of being the Ryse Grand Champion.
Who is going to fall? Who is going to give out? Oh, Oh, man.
Double headbutt. Both men down. This could be the end of the match. We may not have a winner here.
Paul, we're up by the entranceway, and we heard that clash of heads. A sickening clash of heads. A dull thud echoed throughout the stronghold. Moriarty beginning to stir.
I think Lee's going to get to his feet first, the way it looks.
Moriarty clutching the back of his neck. He may have hit his head off the canvas. Both men back to their feet, and quite frankly, I can't believe it. Schoolboy from Conard, he may have it. Conard hangs on. Going for another neck breaker. Moriarty rolls through. Shoulders down. Oh, that was a nasty mid-ring collision. Conard falls on top.
Just when you think they can't give any more, they both dig down deeper and deeper and continue to fight harder and harder for this grand championship.
That may be a matter of sheer coincidence that Conard just happened to fall on top of Moriarty for that pinfall attempt.
And I believe it's going to take something like that for someone to win this match tonight.
That was a nasty, violent collision in that ring right there.
I'll tell you, regardless of who walks away with that grand championship tonight, both of these men...
25 minutes have gone by. 25 minutes.
Both these men are never going to be the same again physically after this matchup. And you got to remember, if whoever wins this match has got to go on to defend that grand championship. How much is this going to take out of each man, and will they be able to continue to be the grand champion after tonight?
Conard could be going for it here. Springboard, and Lee caught him. Unbelievable, snatched him out of the air with that Fujiwara armbar. And Moriarty is wrenching with everything he's got. Moriarty is everything in his body. He is wrenching to hyperextend that arm. He wants to pop that shoulder out of the socket, and that's maybe what it takes. Conard's on an island. He's got nowhere to go.
Lee's trying to get those fingers locked in
Lee's
as
going to
well.
break the arm of the grand champion.
Conard is not giving up.
It may take a broken arm to defeat Matt Conard because Conard is refusing to quit.
Unbelievable action here tonight. Neither one of these guys are anywhere near ready to quit.
This is a career-defining matchup for Moriarty and Matt Conard. In the annals of Pittsburgh wrestling history, this is what it's about. Two athletes giving everything they have for a cherished championship. And that championship is the Ryse Grand Championship.
In nearly 29 years in this business, I have seen a lot of matches and a lot of championship matches, and I have to tell you, I have never seen two men fight as hard as I've seen these two men here fight tonight.
Moriarty and Matt Conard may not be the same after this matchup. They may be leaving a piece of themselves inside the squared circle. Moriarty off the ropes. Liger bomb, Conard caught him. And Moriarty right back to that
armbar back in again.
Look at the pain on Conard's face. Conard so close, but so far away. And Moriarty hooks both arms. Conard's got nowhere to go.
Look at him wrenching that hold in, wrenching up. He's got a leg to the rope.
And by mere inches, Conard with some reprieve from the offensive assault of the apex of combat.
We are down to the final minute of this match. Under a minute to go, and no one has a clear-cut advantage right now.
Elevated flatliner from Moriarty, pulling out everything he can here.
But I think that took as much out of Moriarty as it did out of Conard.
Moriarty clawing his way, attempting to cover the champion. Moriarty, he may be moments away from winning that championship. No, Conard kicks out. Wait a minute, Conard did kick out.
I heard
that wasn't a 3 count.
Your time. 30 minutes is up. You have run out of time.
Time has expired in this match. And there has not been an official winner here, I don't believe.
That was a 30-minute, I believe a 30-minute draw is what we have here.
Time has.
Wait a minute, Marcus is coming down to the ring. Our director of talent, Marcus Mann. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm as perplexed as everybody else here.
And the fans are calling for 5 more minutes.
We did this once before, and I gave you 5 more minutes. Is that what everyone wants? We did this once before. I gave you 5 more minutes, and we went to a draw again. So I'm not giving you 5 more minutes. We are restarting this match with no time limit.
Wow! Marcus Mann has declared this match will continue until we have a winner.
Damn it, Paul, we may be here all night.
I hope you brought us a few sandwiches. We may need them.
But somebody is going to walk out of here the undisputed Ryse Grand Champion.
And I get my hat is off to Marcus Mann at this point. He is not going to settle for another draw between these two men. He wants a winner, and we're going to get a winner tonight.
Who will win the trilogy? Who will complete the trilogy of Conard and Moriarty?
And I'll tell you what, that announcement by Marcus Mann has put some real life into Lee Moriarty right now.
Moriarty knows he has a chance to win that Ryse Grand Championship. Moriarty gets knocked inside out.
Cover
the leg. Paul, I'm exhausted watching this thing.
I'm gonna tell you what, I feel like I've been in there this whole 30 minutes. I don't know how much longer I can go, let alone these two guys.
Someone is gonna walk out of here, Ryse Grand Champion. And you are seeing quite possibly the 2 best athletes in Pittsburgh professional wrestling battling it out right here. And damn it, it's an honor to call it, because this matchup is what really defines Pittsburgh wrestling. This is a special contest. You are seeing 2 athletes give you everything. It's a fight. It's a fight for that championship.
And I'll tell you what, this is what the Grand Championship means to anyone in this business, and especially these two guys. 30+ minutes, and these guys are going at it like they're back in the first 5.
Oh, man. Look at the welts on Conard's body.
I've said it before, nobody throws those European uppercuts as hard as Lee Moriarty.
Roll through. Conard.
No,
Conard countered. Reverse DDT.
He got it. He got it all.
Drop down. Could this be it? No. Oh my God. Paul, what the hell is it gonna take?
I don't know. We are 30 to 35+ minutes into this match, and we have no winner yet. This could go on all night. These two men want this championship that badly. Neither one is about to give in at this point.
Damn it, I'm gonna say it, Paul, in the moment right now. This is a Steel City Classic.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't know what it's gonna take. One of these guys may have to shoot the other one to end this thing.
Conard is barely standing. the ropes are holding up the body of Matt Conard.
And Moriarty's down flat.
He is showing the tenacity that defined his run as Ryse Grand Champion. Conard isn't giving this one up, but neither will Moriarty.
And there will be no shame to whoever loses this match.
Oh, there are no losers in this matchup, Paul. There may be a winner, but damn it, these two are showing why they are two of, if not the best two, professional wrestlers in Pittsburgh.
What is Conard trying to do here now?
Kidney shots from Moriarty. And he kicked Conard right in the shoulder blade. That same shoulder that he's been wrenching on throughout this contest. Springboard ace crusher. That's gotta be it, Paul. If he can make the cover.
But I think that has taken as much out of Lee, though, as it has Conard. Lee really wrenched his back when he hit that canvas.
We are witnessing a violent spectacle at the Stronghold. The challenger is back. I'm sorry, yeah, the challenger. Damn it, Paul, I'm so out of sorts. I swear to God, I'm exhausted. The challenger is measuring the champion.
Matt's trying to
Are
get
we
back
moments
to his feet.
away from a new champ? Conard ducks. Conard has Wee elevated. He's got Wee up. Plants him down and immediately hooks onto that leg, the heel hook.
Lock in. He's got it in tight. He's got Lee pretty close to the center of the ring. I don't know if he can reach the ropes at this point.
It could have taken a broken arm to get Conard to tap out, but it might take a broken ankle for Wee to tap out.
Wait a minute. Moriarty might be passed out here.
The Black Dragon breathes.
Where are these guys finding this strength to carry on?
Oh, no way. Shirley Doe is out here. Damn it, Doe. We can't allow Doe to ruin this thing. We cannot do this.
Not only Doe, but what Derek Direction, what is he doing out here?
What the hell does Derek Direction just smashed a VHS tape over the... No, you gotta be kidding me, damn it.
And now they take out Lee Moriarty.
These selfish bastards have ruined this classic matchup.
Unbelievable. The Grindhouse and Derek, I don't believe I'm saying this, and Derek Direction are beating the unholy hell out of Lee Moriarty and Matt Conard.
These two athletes, and now he's hitting an official. That'll cost Derek Direction some money. That's selfish. Moriarty and Conard fought 35, 40 minutes, and now these scumbags are gonna come pick the bones.
To ruin a match like this, it's just, it's inexplicable.
Damn it, and that's not your championship.
Oh, here we go again with this. What's he gonna do, run back to Cleveland again with it?
I'm gonna say it right now. Marcus Mann should never allow Derek Direction or Shirley Doe back in this building, ever. They have ruined a classic matchup.
People saying I'm infected with a sick disease.
These selfish bastards ruined a classic.
Was a kid that was heartless. Closed all the shades and were bathed in the darkness. Staying awake during the day was the hardest. Tricks and no shame is when I became an artist. Stand back or take two from the director, the king of the casting couch, and a collector. Space in the ring, no, this is a cage. I'm about to take your face off. Call me Nicolas Cage. I ain't only getting started. This is minimum rage. This whole place will get ghost when I get in the
I don't know what Derek Direction's obsession is with this, but he has just ruined one of the best matches we've ever had here at Ryse Wrestling. And Shirley Doe is in bed with this clown. Unbelievable.
After a tremendous start to 2019, I don't want to have to close things out this way, but we got to sign off, for IndyWrestling.us in association Smart Mark Video and the Indie Wrestling Network. My name is Jim Alata for Paul Atlas. We'll see you next time back here. Uprise January 18th. Rise February 2nd. I am disgusted.
I'm at a loss. This is disgusting.
We'll see you next time here at the Stronghold.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.